Hello there, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I'm here to show quite a few dies and die cuts from Memory Box to you. I have die cut them out of several different materials, and I thought I'd just give you a quick browse through. Some of them you might have seen before, but some of them I actually got today, so I'm really keen on showing them to you. So this is the cottage in the woods. And what you see is actually the real size, and I tried die cutting it out of funky foam, and it does work brilliantly. So imagine having this as a wintry thing, and you know, if you were to dare a bit, you could actually use the negative also, to use this one for one and the negative for something else perhaps. And for gluing this down, I might go for my betrusted glue gun. I'm thinking that would be the best choice, taking into consideration the fact that the pine trees' trunks are really thin, as you can see. So it's the cottage in the woods. And I would also like to point out that I actually glued the envelope together, and I cut off just a small slither, so I'm able to actually take it out of its bag like so. That fits me better because then I can put it in a storage like this, and I can easily browse through, and I don't have to be afraid of things falling out on the side and such if I were to keep it like this, because the flap would be open now, wouldn't it? So this is my tip, and on most of the die sets and the packages there is actually a picture of what kind of a die the envelope contains. So I'm thinking I'll try this technique out anyway. Let's see where I'll end up with that. And then I got this one today actually, Starry Wreath. I fell in love with it when I saw it, and now that I see that this one looks like this, I would either have to do some embossing with it afterwards, because on this one I have just die cut it once. I didn't do the embossing with the mats and such, but if you look closely you might see just a little bit of dry embossing effect there, but I do believe that I have to make a second imprint on that one. And then I got myself some dies from Spellbinders. These are called Captivating Squares, and the code for that is S4414. And this is what they look like on the back side. And I die cut two of them. This one is out of a little bit thicker paper, sort of cardboard. It's not cardboard, but card. And I fell for the beautiful square flourishy things there. And I also found out that there was some stitching in this, so this is a nice extra effect there. The stitching hasn't gone through completely, as I can see now. I have to do something about that. I just have to poke it up, I suppose, just rub the backside clean. And then I got this one, and this one was sort of a cardboard thingy looking paper. Accidentally it did give me a bit of a struggle, so I had to die cut it once, and then I turned it the other way and put just an extra piece of paper on top of it, a sort of a shim, and in that way I actually got the form out really nicely. And then I also did the dry embossing afterwards, and you can see something about that in the corner there. There isn't much, but had I kept the die in and colored it in a little bit more, I'm sure it would be more visible than this, but I like the outcome of this anyway. And then you need to, so I do like the picture wheel from Tim Holtz, and when I saw this small one in a picture I thought it would be nice to have something smaller, and when I die cut this one today my heart almost stopped. It is just so beautiful now, isn't it? Well, you might not be able to put any pictures in this, but it sure is cute, isn't it? So it's the Magnolia Doohickeys, it's called picture wheel, I'm sure. So let's see, what else have I got here? I couldn't resist the Grand Madison door, and this one is from Poppy Stamps Incorporated. And it's a big die, like this. And it does die cut it like this with an opening. So you have to strengthen the fold here somewhat. And accidentally I used this card, and it is a bit thick, on the thick side I suppose. And if I were to go in and do the dry embossing, I'm sure I could get those raised a little bit more. You can't really see it that well now, can you? So let's see, what else have I got? Well, this one, I have been looking at it for quite some time now, and I hadn't really thought I would like it as much as I did. But as you can see, it's a pretty big die, and it has got some lovely swirls and such. And when I die cut it, it cut through like butter, I'm telling you. Just look at this, beautiful, beautiful swirls and such. And then I felt like, well, let's go for a pine needle border. Why not? You can see the picture there. And the die is pretty big also. But for this, I would absolutely recommend you to use an extra shim when you do die cut it, because this is the first attempt. I didn't do anything special with it. I'm sure I could poke these out, but I had some trouble getting this one loosened from somewhere, so there was a little bit of a struggle. So I thought, well, let's use another shim, shall we? And this is the result. So much better, isn't it? So you really get those beautiful pine needle details like so. So that was a must. I need to do something about with it. This is something that I had before, the graceful chandelier, but I just wanted to show you how nicely it cuts, because I did try to cut it out. This is really nicely cut, and it feels soft and smooth around the edges and everything. And then I talked to you about this grand oak tree, and I thought that I would have definitely going to be in trouble die cutting this one unless I put some thin shim foam on it. But I didn't do anything. I just gave it a go, the first go, and I was absolutely surprised to find out that it was really easy to die cut this. Just look at the detail. Such a beautiful tree. I'm telling you, this is a really nice buy. And then we come to cats. I did order 2 more cats, and I went for the smaller sets, and as it turned out, it was the same sort of cats, just a little bit smaller, because the other ones were out of stock at Scrapbruket. So here they are. Here's the sitting cat, the large and the small, and here is the walking cat, the large and the small. And now, aren't they cute? Really cute cats. And I have shown you this one before. It's the Jubilee circle, really nice one, and it does cut nicely, and I like the pattern of it. A really nice die, I must say. This is something that I have had for a while, but I haven't really been able to make anything out of it yet. This one is called the Tupelo circle, and as you can see, the symbol or the picture for it there. And if I just die cut it out of paper, it'll look like this. Really nice, beautiful. But I thought that I would die cut it out of funky foam, green one, and then I would use the leftover from this one. So I put an insert to this, and I was thinking that this could be a nice idea, nice way to actually make a card or something. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to be a little bit fanciful, sort of. So, well, you never know what I can make of it. I think that the funky foam is a little bit too light green, so I have to do some colouring of that, I suppose. And this is something that I have had also, and it's called the Frostyville wreath. A really nice looking die. And this is the result when I die cut it out of funky foam. I almost went mad. And this one turned out to be a little bit thicker, this funky foam, in comparison to the green one, I think. There's just a little bit of a difference. But anyway, I was able to actually get the die cut out of the funky foam there. And there's another one here, and I thought I'd just show you. And I didn't have to pay that much attention. All I have to do really is just peel it off like this. And continue all around. And what I'm left with is just this negative, which I can't really make that much with. And since funky foam is a bit flexible, well, I don't think you need to be afraid of breaking it. So just look at this. A really nice way to use those funky foams, I think. And then I went mad when I saw this. I had it in my basket 3 times. I mean, I have had it for several orders, but I have just taken it away. I've taken it away. I'm thinking, it's not Halloween, it's not Halloween. But then I came to think about, well, let's say somebody is going to buy it and I haven't got the chance to do it, then I have to wait and wait and wait forever, and I couldn't just bear that. So I decided on buying this one. It's called Spooky Frame Set, and it looks like this. I'm just keeping the parts together for now. And when it comes to die cutting this, I would recommend you to use some extra shim, because the first die cut didn't succeed completely altogether. It went alright over here and here, but as you can see, it's a bit poorly done here. So I decided on putting on an extra shim, and ta-da! It actually worked out really nicely. I didn't have to struggle at all. It's a really nice looking die, isn't it? And it doesn't have to be just for Halloween, because this is a beautiful frame now, isn't it? And then we come to the little bit bigger dies. And I have to tell you, I did struggle with this one and also with the vaudeville frame. First, I tried die cutting it as I usually do, with just the paper on top. And this is the result. There's always a problem up here. The sides are usually just fine, but I don't understand how come the top parts just never work. I tried a second time with an extra paper, and I still couldn't get those out. So what I did after that was I took an extra shim, a little bit thicker this time, and this actually made the trick, or did it. So I actually got this beautiful frame out, and I didn't have to do any extra cutting or anything. It just popped out really nicely. And then I got a couple of frames left. This one I had actually put on some eject foam, but that prevented me from die cutting it properly. I did foam this, or actually shim this a couple of times before I succeeded, so I had to put on a really thick shim. So use thin paper when you're die cutting this, and use thick shims to actually make the die cut out properly, and that way you can actually manage it. And then, well, we're actually out of the dies now. So that's it from me. I do hope you are inspired to go for some of these memory box dies, because I think that they are to die for. Just have to figure out what to do with them. So, alright, I'm going to sign off right now. Bye bye.